Hey everyone, and welcome back to Talk Tickers. You know us, we break down earnings calls, and today we're going to be diving deep into Biocryst Pharmaceuticals, their Q3 2024 report.
Yeah, it's an exciting one.
There's a lot to cover.
For sure, a lot to unpack.
So for anyone who needs a refresher, Biocryst is a company that develops oral drugs for rare and serious diseases.
Right, American pharmaceutical company, and their most well-known product is Orlidaeo for hereditary angioedema.
HAE.
HAE, yeah.
And that is showing some pretty impressive growth.
Yeah.
Orlidaeo brought in globally this quarter $116.3 million.
Wow.
Which is a 36% jump year over year.
That's impressive.
It is. And it's not just the numbers, though. The real-world impact on patients is really something.
Yeah, they presented some data at ACAAI,
The American College of
Asthma and Immunology,
Right.
showing that Orlidaeo users experience way fewer HAE attacks.
Way fewer.
Down to about 4 per year.
Wow.
Think about that, for people who are suffering from these debilitating and unpredictable impacts.
Yeah, that's life-changing.
It's huge.
And even more, Orlidaeo is making a difference for patients with C1 normal inhibitor,
Right.
which is a group that's historically struggled to find effective treatments.
Yeah.
So that's a key takeaway for me. It's opening doors for a whole subset of patients who really haven't had anything like this before.
Yeah. And I think that's a big part of why they have such a high patient retention rate with this drug.
Makes sense.
People are sticking with this treatment because it works and it's easy to take. It's a once daily pill.
Yeah, super convenient.
So it's not surprising that their research predicts Orlidaeo reaching $1 billion in annual revenue.
By 2029.
By 2029, even with new competitors coming into the market.
Okay, so let's talk about kids.
Pediatrics.
Pediatrics.
Yeah.
Orlidaeo in pediatrics.
Huge potential game changer.
Children with HAE face the burden of frequent injections.
It's tough.
And Biocryst is developing Orlidaeo granules,
Oh, wow.
specifically for kids, so easy to take and potentially life-changing.
Yeah, because those frequent injections can be a real nightmare for families and the patients.
Absolutely.
Orlidaeo granules could be a huge quality of life improvement.
Huge.
The APEX-P study, which looked at the drug's use in children, has already wrapped up,
Oh, wow.
and regulatory submissions are on track for 2025.
So we'll have to see how this pediatric expansion plays out.
It'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not just about expanding the market. Biocryst is also investing in research to make the transition to Orlidaeo smoother for patients.
Yeah, they're running a phase 4 trial, APEX-T,
APEX-T.
exploring the best way to switch patients from injectable therapies.
So smart.
I think it's really clever on their part. It shows that they're not just focused on developing the drug,
Right.
but also thinking about the whole patient journey.
The whole picture.
Yeah, by addressing physicians' concerns and making that transition easier, they're paving the way for wider adoption of Orlidaeo.
Yeah, it's a win-win.
Win-win for patients and for Biocryst.
So let's move beyond Orlidaeo and look at some of the other developments in Biocrist's pipeline.
Okay.
One that really caught my attention is their potential breakthrough therapy for Netherton syndrome,
Oh, yeah.
which is a rare and really debilitating genetic skin disorder.
It's tough. There's a real lack of effective treatments out there.
And Biocryst is stepping up.
They are, and this is where things get really interesting. Their KLK5 inhibitor, BCX17725, isn't just aiming to manage symptoms.
Right.
It's aiming to be a functional cure for Netherton syndrome.
Wow.
That's a bold goal,
Cool.
with the potential to be truly transformative for patients.
They've already started a phase 1 study in healthy volunteers, and they're planning to move into patients in 2025.
That's exciting.
It is. It's early days. But the prospect of a functional cure is something that investors and, more importantly, patients are going to be watching closely.
Absolutely. The potential of BCX177-SYN25 to fundamentally change the course of Netherton syndrome is huge.
It's huge.
But of course, we need to see the data.
Yeah.
We'll be looking for signs of efficacy. Specifically reduction in those hallmark symptoms of Netherton syndrome, the severe itching, the flaking, the peeling skin.
Right. Safety data is going to be crucial, too.
Oh, for sure.
But if this program lives up to its potential, we could be talking about a major breakthrough.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't stop there. Biocryst also has a potential game changer in the works for diabetic macular edema.
DME.
DME, another serious condition with limited treatment options.
Right, and DME can lead to vision loss, and that's where Biocrist's Everalstat comes in.
Everalstat.
It's designed to deliver long-lasting targeted treatment directly to the retina.
Wow, so if they can pull this off, we're talking revolutionizing DME therapy.
That's the idea.
Trials for Everalstat in DME patients are expected to start in 2025, and this could open up another huge market for Biocryst.
Yeah, another significant opportunity for them.
So it's clear Biocryst is not resting on their laurels. They're committed to innovation and pushing the boundaries in rare disease treatment.
They are, and they're doing it with a strong financial foundation.
Their Q3 financials were impressive.
Total revenues hit $117.1 million.
Yeah, and they reported a positive net cash flow of over $13 million.
Which is amazing.
That's a huge milestone for any biotech company, especially one that's still in growth mode.
For sure.
It really shows their commitment to achieving sustained profitability, which isn't always easy in this industry.
It's not?
They're really focusing on a disciplined approach to capital allocation, investing wisely in Orlidaeo's growth,
Right.
advancing their pipeline, and staying financially independent.
That financial independence is key. They've managed to avoid relying on capital markets,
Yeah,
which gives them more flexibility and control over their destiny.
really.
It really speaks volumes about their long-term vision and strategic planning.
And let's not forget about their efforts to improve paid therapy rates for Orlidaeo.
Right, that's a crucial aspect of their business strategy.
It is.
Increasing those paid therapy rates while also growing their patient base is a powerful combination. It shows they're not just adding patients, but they're adding patients who can actually access and afford the treatment.
Right.
That's what drives sustainable growth and long-term value.
It's like a perfect storm brewing in their favor.
It seems like it.
So when we zoom out and look at the big picture, where does this all leave Biocryst?
Well, they're positioning themselves as a dominant force in the rare disease space.
Okay.
And it's not just about developing treatments.
Right.
They're aiming for cures.
Cures.
The potential of a functional cure for Netherton syndrome with BCX17725 is enormous.
It's a whole different ballgame compared to just managing symptoms.
It is. It's about addressing the root cause of the disease.
Exactly. And that's where true breakthroughs happen.
Right. And remember earlier when we were talking about Biocryst as a potential acquisition target?
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Let's dive back into that.
Let's get speculative.
What makes Biocryst so attractive to a bigger pharmaceutical company?
Well, first off, you've got Orlidaeo, a proven winner with strong revenue growth and a clear path to blockbuster status.
So it's a sure bet.
Right, not some risky experiment.
Right.
And then there's the pipeline packed with potential, especially those programs aiming for functional cures.
Right.
Larger companies are always on the hunt for innovative therapies that meet unmet needs.
Yeah, it's not just about acquiring a product, it's about acquiring the potential for future breakthroughs.
Exactly.
Makes sense. And what about their financials? Do those make them more appealing?
Absolutely. Their strong financial position and history of profitability are huge selling points.
Okay.
They've proven they can manage resources well and generate positive returns.
So they're not just a scientific powerhouse.
Right. They're a well-run business, too,
Yeah.
which is a rare and desirable combination in biotech.
For sure. But let's play devil's advocate for a minute.
Okay.
What might make a big pharma company hesitate before making a move on Biocryst?
Well, the price tag could be one obstacle. Biocryst's valuation is already pretty high, and any acquisition would likely involve a premium.
It might be a matter of finding a buyer with deep enough pockets and the willingness to make that kind of investment.
That's a high-stakes game.
It is. What else might give a potential buyer pause? I guess the competition in the HAE market is heating up.
Yeah.
With new treatments coming online, a bigger company might question whether Orlidaeo can maintain its market share in the long run.
They'd want to be sure that Orlidaeo can withstand the competition and keep those revenues flowing.
For sure.
So it's all about weighing the potential rewards against the risks.
Right? Always. That's the name of the game in mergers and acquisitions.
Now, we talked about Netherton syndrome and DME,
Mm-hmm.
but what else is cooking in Biocryst's pipeline? What other rare diseases are they targeting?
Well, they're exploring treatments for a variety of conditions, including one that's particularly fascinating, fibrodysplasia ossificans progressiva, or FOP for short.
Whoa, that name sounds intense. What is FOP?
It's a very rare and devastating genetic disorder where muscles, tendons, and ligaments gradually turn into bone.
That sounds like something out of a science fiction movie.
It really does, and there's no effective treatment for it currently.
Wow.
So Biocryst's research in this area is truly groundbreaking.
It's amazing how they're tackling these complex and often neglected diseases.
Yeah.
It speaks to their commitment to pushing the boundaries of medical science.
They seem to be operating with a sense of urgency, like they're racing against time to find solutions.
It's not just about the science, though, is it? What about the people behind the company?
Well, their CEO, John Stonehouse, has been at the helm since 2007, and he's highly respected in the industry for his vision and leadership.
So he's not just a scientist, he's a seasoned business leader, too.
Exactly. And he's assembled a talented team of executives who share his passion for innovation and patient care.
It's a collective effort.
Which is crucial for any company's success.
You know what strikes me about Biocryst is their unwavering focus on patients.
Yeah.
It's evident in everything they do, from their R&D to their patient support programs.
They seem to understand that behind every disease is a person, a family, a story. And they're driven to make a tangible difference in the lives of those affected by rare diseases.
It's not just about profits, it's about purpose.
Absolutely. And that sets them apart.
So out of everything we've discussed, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I think it's their relentless pursuit of innovation. They're not content with just treating symptoms. They're striving to find cures.
Yeah.
And that's a game changer, especially in the world of rare diseases.
A whole different level of impact.
It is, and they're doing it with financial discipline and a focus on sustainability.
They're building a company that's not just successful,
Right.
but built to last.
Yeah, I agree.
So Biocryst is a company to keep on your radar, folks. Their story is just beginning, and the coming chapters promise to be even more exciting.
Oh, I agree. They're a shining example of what's possible when science, strategy, and compassion intersect.
Well said. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time for our signature segment. This is not financial advice, but where we let our imaginations run wild.
I love this part.
Let's get speculative.
Okay.
So based on everything we've covered today, what's your outrageous yet plausible trade idea?
Given their impressive financials, Orlidaeo's blockbuster potential, and that groundbreaking pipeline, I'm going to go with a leveraged buyout.
A leveraged buyout that's bold.
It is, but picture this, a group of investors, maybe a private equity firm with deep pockets, recognizing Biocrist's immense potential and swooping in to take the company private.
So essentially, they'd be placing a big bet on Biocrist's future success by taking it off the public market.
Exactly. They provide the capital to accelerate growth and fuel R&D, then reap the rewards down the line. It's a higher risk, high reward play.
And it's not entirely out of the question.
Right.
Biocryst has all the right ingredients to attract this kind of ambitious investor.
It would certainly be a power move.
All right, there you have it, folks. Our This Is Not Financial Advice, But segment. In all its speculative glory, remember this is all hypothetical, don't make any investment decisions based on our wild ideas, but it's definitely a scenario worth pondering. Now, shifting gears a bit, what are some key things investors and analysts will be watching closely in the coming months and years with Biocryst?
Well, first and foremost, they'll be looking for continued robust sales growth for Orlidaeo. Can Biocryst maintain this impressive momentum, especially as new competitors enter the market? That's the million-dollar question.
Literally, yeah.
Quite literally. And they'll also be closely tracking the progress of Biocrist's pipeline, particularly those clinical trials for BCX 17725 in Netherton syndrome and of Everalstat in DME.
Right.
Those are the potential game changers, the ones that could really catapult Biocryst to the next level.
Positive data from those trials could have a significant impact on the company's valuation and attract even more investor interest. It's all about execution. Now they have the pieces in place, they just need to deliver.
Exactly, and they've consistently shown they're capable of doing just that. So to wrap things up, Biocryst Pharmaceuticals is a company making waves in the rare disease space. They have a blockbuster drug, a promising pipeline, and a rock-solid financial foundation.
They're a force to be reckoned with, and their future looks incredibly bright if you're looking for a company pushing the boundaries of science and making a real difference in the lives of patients. Biocryst is definitely one to watch.
I couldn't agree more. They exemplify what's possible when innovation, determination, and compassion come together.
Well said. And with that, we'll conclude this deep dive into Biocryst Pharmaceuticals. Thanks for joining us on Talk Tickers. Be sure to tune in next time for another exciting exploration of the world of biotech and earnings calls. Until then, happy investing.
Million-dollar question, literally.
Yeah, and they'll also be closely tracking the progress of Biocrist's pipeline,
Right.
particularly those clinical trials for BCX 17225 in Netherton syndrome and Everalstat in DME.
Right. Those are the potential game changers.
Yeah.
The ones that could really catapult Biocryst to the next level.
Positive data from those trials could have a significant impact on the company's valuation and attract even more investor interest.
For sure.
It's all about execution now.
Yeah.
They have the pieces in place.
Right.
They just need to deliver.
Exactly. And they've consistently shown they're capable of doing just that. So to wrap things up, Biocryst Pharmaceuticals is a company making waves in the rare disease space. They have a blockbuster drug, a promising pipeline, and a rock-solid financial foundation.
They're forced to be reckoned with, and their future looks incredibly bright if you're looking for a company pushing the boundaries of science and making a real difference in the lives of patients. Biocryst is definitely one to watch.
I couldn't agree more. They exemplify what's possible when innovation, determination, and compassion come together.
Well said. And with that, we'll conclude this deep dive into Biocryst Pharmaceuticals. Thanks for joining us on Talk Tickers. Be sure to tune in next time for another exciting exploration of the world of biotech and earnings calls. Until then, happy investing.
For sure. So to wrap things up, Biocryst Pharmaceuticals is a company making waves in the rare disease space. They have a blockbuster drug, a promising pipeline, and a rock-solid financial foundation.
They're a force to be reckoned with, and their future looks incredibly bright. If you're looking for a company pushing the boundaries of science and making a real difference in the lives of patients, Biocryst is definitely one to watch.
I couldn't agree more. They exemplify what's possible when innovation, determination, and compassion come together.
Well said. And with that, we'll conclude this deep dive into Biocryst Pharmaceuticals. Thanks for joining us on Talk Tickers. Be sure to tune in next time for another exciting exploration of the world of biotech and earnings calls. Until then, happy investing.